Around the pumpkin is floating around the head. The pumpkin is floating around the head. Hey, good morning. It's 5 a.m. Mester Scrum. Hope everybody's doing well today. It is Saturday. It's not 5 a.m. It's like 6:09. So we got a little bit late. This is episode number 75. And we got special effects, right? We got a floating lighted pumpkin for all those people in podcast world. And it's Saturday, and we're up early. Sorry, it's not 5 a.m. I was up getting the lights, figuring out whether or not I wanted to do the lights because the one light's really bright, and I don't know if the pumpkin would come through. Pumpkin. Anyway, so we talk about Scrum and Agile and business activities and things like that, what's going on. I got a lot of stuff to do even on a Saturday. Always something's going on. I'm going to go check out, hopefully, the future building for my 501(c) activity that we're working on. Still haven't said everything about that, but I think I will shortly, which has nothing to do with Scrum and Agile, though, however, I do want to get the organization working in a very Scrum and Agile fashion, so it'll bleed into that organization too, trust me, because it's just a way of working, right? And lots of things to do. So it's Saturday. We're talking a little bit. I know PMI. Some people in Agile like evil PMI. They're doing their convention here in Philadelphia this weekend. I'm going to try to go there. I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars to go to the conference itself, but I'm going to go walk around, see all the vendors. I'm going to go see what's there, right? Got to go. It's in my town. If it's in your town, you don't go, then you have issues, right? So I got to tell my wife that I got to go. She might be happy, but I'm going to go to it. Anyway, so the pumpkin, right? We always talk about the talking stick because it's floating. Changing things up. The reason why I have this, I was pulling out the Halloween decorations for our house. This is a perfect little talking stick handover. It's lit up too. I wish there was a timer. I wish there was a sensor like it would light up when it moves and it would stay lit and then it would have a little timer. Like if you stop moving it, it would go off or something. Somehow I could time everybody. It'd be under a minute during daily Scrum. That would be awesome. I was thinking the hot potato game. Maybe that would be funny. That might be just funny just for, you know what? I want to see if they still have a hot potato game in the store that you can crank up and get it buzzing and then hand it and whoever's got it, that would be funny during Daily Scrum. If I can find one, I will bring it here and I will demonstrate it to you all. Anyway, put that in there. Pumpkin's taking over the window. Yes, it's Saturday. I'm going a little crazy because I've been up early. Up since 5 a.m. actually, just doing stuff around the house. So I want to talk about two things. I'm going to talk something about like PMP related, but I also want to talk about or PMI related, PM project related, but I want to talk about the giant backlog. So, I always hear about teams, they want to expand, hire more people. It's going on everywhere. We got all this work to do. And there's this giant backlog. I was having a conversation the other day, and a person was talking about having 1,000 points worth of backlog, and we can only do like 300 points. Let's say like 200. Let's say 200 points in a sprint, or not a sprint, like a PI. We're gonna do about 200 points worth of work. We have 1,000 points in the backlog. From an Agile coaching perspective, and this is the beauty behind Agile and Scrum and what we do. Like if you can do, say, 200 points API and you have 1,000 points worth of work, that math is so simple. It's like, how long will it take you to do this? Well, I have 1,000 points of backlog. I can do 200 points. So it'll take me 5 quarters to do it. It'll take me a year to get that work done. That's the math. Like, it's very easy to project how much work you're going to do. And as you more points, you figure you could lay out your path forever, right? And the question is, you got to look at a couple things. One, how old are these ideas? Have they been sitting around for multiple years, right? and they're just old. So they probably don't, a lot of them might not have any value. They're just sitting in there, just don't have any value. Or are they new work or work that's very valuable that the organization needs to go take a look at, right? And you need to do that, everyone. As an organization, product owners, we talked about product owners, architecture yesterday, but a couple of days ago, we were talking about product owners. Product owners in the business and the management staff for the IT group need to look at this backlog and just go off every once in a while and just look at it and just say, how old is this stuff? Is this stuff we really want to do? Does this really have value? And you do that outside the team. You don't need the team to do that. I'm telling you now. And this is what I think a lot of organizations don't do, and it's really not in any of the books. SAFe kind of tries to do it where they have a big area up top where the management, the portfolio level are looking at the overall business, right? But I really do believe it's important that the management staff of the IT department or whoever department's doing this work, right? Whoever the managers are, the people working, and like I said, you can do this thing in a pizza joint if you really want to. The product owners and the business need to get together and maybe have a couple Scrum Masters, because Scrum Masters are probably pretty good fit. I would bring an Agile coach to be a facilitator, right? And have that discussion. What's good? What's really value? What has real value in our backlog? And have an honest conversation. When you can't have this honest conversation, like you're afraid of conflict, it's going to be very hard. I've met organizations, and it was funny. I told the manager, I said, this organization is like terrified of conflict, and they just run away from conflict. And he's like, well, the last people we had to analyze our group, that's what they said too. I was like, see, high paid consultant. I could see exactly what the high paid consultant's telling you. I was like, yeah, he's right. So that was fun. It was great being validated on that one. I knew there was something wrong. However, so go back to this. So you need to look at your backlog. There's a couple solutions to that, right? You can hire more people. So I got this giant backlog, and I hire more people. So, or don't run your business the way you're running it. A lot of times when you have that giant backlog and it's backing up, what that tells me is you're not really running Scrum and Agile correctly, and it's kind of wrong. And one of the avenues, so let's say you have a combination thing. One, I would check the feature backlog for age and whether or not it's still valuable, so you can get a real good grip on what really needs to be done. So do you really need to hire a bunch of more people? Two, definitely not running Agile, right? So if I were to instead of peppering teams with people, I mean, you could do that for a little bit. Maybe you form a new team, okay, or take a couple people out of those other groups that exist because they're not performing well as it is anyhow. So I don't think it's really going to help. But the people that are really good and that understand Agile and seem to like Agile, ask some volunteers, like 2 or 3, and get there. And then you build another team on top of that. So you have this team over here that you just formed. Don't run it the way you are currently running your operations. Don't run it where managers tell things to do things. Run it pure Agile, pure Scrum. Start with a pure Scrum mod, get that. So you have that. So when you add the group on it, they accelerate really fast and quickly. Do not run them the way you're currently running your organization, because the reason why you have that giant backlog is nobody in your organization has been able to get the work out fast as the business needs it. So there's a reason why so don't run it the way you're currently running it, right? Whether you're doing waterfall before or you're doing Agile, quasi-Agile now with Agile in name, don't run that new team the way you currently do. Run it in a pure Agile, Scrum-like fashion and let it take off. And you'll get a lot of work out of that team. So I think if you did that, not only when we talked about the 50% and get the other people, I think you'll double, triple the production out of that new team. That's my take on it. But I would recommend you do that. Do not combine it and run it the way you run all the other organizations, because that is not working. Okay, you have to stop, right? I had said stop to a couple managers before, and they just look like, "What do you mean stop?" I'm like, it's like you're gonna have to hire 1 million people to take care of this backlog, right? Because the other thing is you can take it and you can work in parallel. And then you got to start thinking you got two teams. Maybe you hire two brand new teams and they can work in parallel. And instead of taking a whole year, a real long year, which I'm showing like a real long year, you get this two new teams you just hired because you got like, a whole year's worth of backlog and you foresee a continuing improvement of this work or transforming how you want to run your business to do that. Here in episode 75, we're at the 10-minute mark, so I want to jump to my other topic before we go. With this 5 a.m. Mester Scrum, please like and subscribe. We always have little Scrum ideas. And so that gives you an idea what to look at. And you can always, if you see your organization doing that and you want to send me questions, please feel free. More than happy to work with you. I'm getting pulled in another group that's asking me questions about how they operate, and I'm more than happy to help out. Mostly because I love analyzing this stuff, so it kind of gets geeky. Sometimes I do a lot of things for free just to see what you're doing, and I learn from it. So I learn from the interaction. So because it's PMI this week here in Philadelphia, and I'm going to go over to their displays and go see the vendors. Paid $150, go walk around. I'm not going to spend $1,000 to go see the lectures and stuff like that. Maybe one year I will, not this year. Got too much stuff going on. And I think my wife would kill me. She would. I just bought lights for the show. So lights, PMI. I got lights because I want to do interviews. We're going to do some new stuff in the future. So that's coming. I got ideas. I want to transform how I do this, but it's still a one-person show. PMI. In PMP, they tell you one of the items in their thing is having a project charter. And there's a lot of similarity between PMP, Six Sigma, Agile and Scrum, things like that. And one of the areas is project charter. And forming some tiger groups, right? And I'm coming up with a little project charter, but I'm going to run the group as a Scrum team. I'm going to facilitate. I'm going to play Scrum Master for this tiger team, right? They're in for it, right? Like, oh God, Greg's going to be Scrum Master. We're in trouble. So project charters. What's in a project charter? It has a one-line title, which is just like your team or project or work you're going to take on, right? And that's very agile. We want to know what the vision is. Has a couple of vision statements in it, which is agile, right? Or you can say in that project title, it's just like our sprint planning, our sprint goal. So if you have a release goal or feature goal or whatever, that's in the project title, right? So it's the same stuff. It's no different. It's taking the best and using it and applying it as you go. List of people that are going to participate. No different, right? We got people, what their jobs are, what their expertise, what they're bringing to the table. How much time they're going to participate, like how much time percentage-wise. And everybody says you should be 100% dedicated, and I agree that you want to be dedicated. But however, when you do these projects, sometimes you get people and you only get 25% of the time. But you run it like a Scrum. But what you got to be is realistic. When you split this time up, you don't get 100% capacity for those people. You only get 25% capacity because the other 75, they're off doing their work normally, right? But if you have something you really got to fix because it's killing your teams and it's really all the teams that are being affected by it and you want to do it this way and bring some people that from multiple teams, how do we fix this problem? You only get like 25% of the time. So you only have 25% capacity. Don't put a backlog that's super large backlogs. I like doing it this way because it's stacked, a vertical stack on my hands, right? But put a small little backlog because per sprint, right? And it's still going to run it in sprint fashion because they can only do so much work. So don't make them think like, oh, I'm never going to get done. I'm stressing out because I'm on this tiger team and I got a million things to do. No. We're going to work in a sprint. We're going to do a 2-week thing or a 1-month thing, depending how often you do it. And say, in this 2 weeks, we just want you to do like one thing. That's all it is. One thing during that sprint, maybe 2. That's it. Don't do any more. And when you get done, you're good. Go do your other work. We'll come back. We'll figure out what we can do. So as the people, how much time they have, how often they meet, maybe like they have a group meeting. I don't think they're going to do a daily sprint, but maybe they do it every a couple days. maybe twice a week. And then they do a demo every week to what we would call the manager or a sponsor. So Agile likes having sponsors too. Anytime you do work and you do work in an Agile fashion, it's really good to have a sponsor who promotes and backs you and protects you. So part of the sponsorship job is to protect the team. So, which is very similar to the way we work. The product owner, right? The product owner, the sponsor is the customer's voice. Well, they're not, but they protect the team. So it's very Agile-like. And when we do a team norms, right? In that project charter, you might put some initial team norms, how the team's going to operate. We're going to meet once a week. It's going to be on a Friday. It's going to be for a half hour. We'll chat on Slack or something. We'll post our stuff in SharePoint. We're going to run it in Jira. We're going to update as we go. Be on time to have meetings. If you can't make it, let the teams know. If you get blocked, let the teams know. So that is your team norm, right? You can put that in your charter, right? So everybody knows how you can operate. So it's a team charter where the sponsor sees it. Everybody's a member of it. You can put your norms, how you're going to operate in there. But that's all Agile. So when people say, oh, PMP is so much different from Agile, there are a lot of things that are similar between the operations that you take from one world and apply perfectly in the other world. Now, they may break up a little bit in what they're called and where they go, but they're basically the same stuff. So when everybody's, oh, that's PMP and this is Agile and nowhere in between shall the two meet. Well, I'm be honest with you, having done both worlds, they meet an awful lot. Okay. There's a lot of cross on the two activities. It's not we don't want as much documentation as world and PMP or PMI type things. Sometimes they want a lot of documentation just because they want all the answers. And the Agile world is like, no, you figure out the answers because you'll come up with a better product that way than me telling you exactly what to do. So anyway, that's what we got for the show. It's been 17 minutes. Kind of went over, but talked about the giant backlog. How do you lay it out? I mean, that's kind of PMP-ish too, right? It's like, what's my schedule? Well, I have 1,000 points. I can do 200 points a quarter. So it's 5 quarters. So it's 5 quarter, year and a quarter. There you go. There's my schedule. What do you want? You want anything else? I don't know. Anyway, do the hand toss with the pumpkin. And you all have, let me make him come in. He's coming in. He's looking. I'm just messing with the YouTube video right now with the pumpkin. Just having. Now, as we close out on our video, hey, it's 5am Mester Scrum. Please like and subscribe. Thumbs up. Here you go. He's got a little thumb. Yeah, thumbs up on 5am Mester Scrum. I got the pumpkin with my thumbs up thing going on here. Thumbs up. I'm getting goofy. It's Saturday. It's great. I don't have to go to work today, but however, I got all this stuff I want to do. So please like and subscribe, share with other people. I'm going to post some more stuff, content up, try to split up a lot of things, get my office set up so that we have that ready to go. And you all have an awesome weekend. Happy Saturday. Take care. Bye. Bye. Bye, Eddie. Good morning, Eddie.